Have you ever found yourself so lonely that you wondered, why? Why me? Why does God want me to be alone? Sometimes profound loneliness makes us seem to face an unfillable void. In that silent space, we feel every breath, hear every heartbeat. This feeling of loneliness is not just a temporary state, but sometimes it becomes an unexpected companion, always quietly there, reminding us of ourselves. But have you ever thought that this loneliness is not a punishment, not a sign of failure, but actually a part of the grand plan that God has for you? Perhaps that is how He helps you distance yourself from the noise of the world so you can listen to the voice of your soul, so you can truly hear His call. When there is nothing left to distract you, when you no longer care about the judgments or opinions of others, you can truly face yourself. And that's when you realize that God is using this time alone to prepare you, to build you into a stronger, more steadfast person who can achieve greater things. Remember that loneliness is not a sentence, not an abandonment. Loneliness is to prepare you for greater things. You may feel empty, but in reality, you are being filled by the presence of God in your life. He wants you to see loneliness as a friend, a guide on the journey of inner exploration. For in moments of solitude, there is no one else but you and God. And it is the perfect time for you to feel His guidance, healing, and comfort. We are living in a world full of distractions. The noise of modern society, from social media, the press, to the expectations of those around us, makes it difficult for us to focus on something truly meaningful. How many times have you felt the need to chase after the standards set by others, or worried about what others think of you? And in that hustle, God knows that you need a moment of silence to return to yourself. He wants you to step back from the crowd so you can hear His voice more clearly. He wants you to distance yourself from the things that distract you so you can clearly see the purpose of life that He has placed in your heart from the beginning. For those who walk the path that God has laid out, loneliness is unavoidable. That is the time God sets aside to refine, to clarify your goals, to reaffirm your values and mission. Those who have changed the world, those who have found their noble purpose in life, all had to go through loneliness. That is the moment when they have to face themselves with the fears and weaknesses they have hidden within. It is precisely in those moments of solitude that they can find their inner strength and gain a clearer understanding of what they were born to accomplish. Think about the lonely times in your life. In those moments, you may feel lost. But that doesn't mean God isn't by your side. Perhaps that is the moment He is quietly working within you, shaping the path you will take. Because loneliness is not a punishment, but a stage of preparation for the great things to come. He wants you to take the time to gain a clearer understanding of yourself, to shed unnecessary burdens, and to start building a solid foundation for the future. We will explore this loneliness through another lens, the lens of faith, hope, and preparation. It is solitude not only to understand oneself, but also to strengthen the relationship with God. You will understand that loneliness is not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter in your life. God needs you to distance yourself from the noise, to avoid distractions so that you can hear His call. In the noise of life, amidst the expectations of others, the voices surrounding you from all sides, sometimes you can't hear what is truly important. You are caught in the whirlwind of needs and goals imposed by the outside world. But have you ever stopped and asked yourself what you really want? What God has placed in your heart? It is in those solitary moments when you have no one by your side and must face yourself that you can hear the whispers of God. He wants you to step out of the mundane distractions so you can see more clearly the path He has laid out for you. When you are not distracted by the noise of the world, you begin to notice that everything you truly need, every answer you are seeking, lies within your relationship with God. Loneliness is not a waste of time. That is the stage where you are set apart to fully focus on what God has predetermined for your life. Consider solitude as an opportunity for you to build focus, to shed unnecessary burdens, and to listen to the guiding voice from Him. It is in those moments that you realize God is preparing something greater for you, something that only you and He can see together. Don't think that loneliness is abandonment. It is preparation. Like a seed lying in the dark, loneliness is the time for you to sprout and grow from within. A seed cannot sprout amidst the light and bustle of the world. It needs darkness, it needs silence, it needs time to prepare. And you too. Sometimes the preparation for something great begins in a quiet period when you are held in the silence that God has reserved for you. Loneliness is not a sign of failure, but a stage of preparation for you to become the best version that God has shaped. You are being cultivated in silence, in that separate space where no one can interrupt. This is not a punishment, but a call from God for you to enter a period of preparation. It is a time for you to think more deeply about your purpose, about how you can serve and shine in His grand plan. Look at the lives of those who have achieved great things, and you will see that they have gone through lonely times, facing challenges and fears on their own. They had to learn to rely on their faith so that they could stand firm and grow. Just as a plant must have strong roots before it can break through the ground, you also need time to grow, to prepare for your breakthrough in the life that God has destined for you. In solitude, you learn to place your trust in God rather than in the recognition of people. When everything around you becomes silent, you are forced to seek comfort from God. This is not easy, but it is precisely in that separation that you are trained to learn how not to depend on external things. You realize that true strength does not come from praise, nor from the affirmation of others, but from trust in God and perseverance in His journey for you. God uses loneliness as a tool to strengthen your faith. When all external support disappears, you must completely rely on God. Faith is not measured by ease, but by patience in difficult times, by the ability to stand firm even when everything seems to be against you. When you can place your trust in God during solitude, you will learn to face any challenge in life with unwavering faith. And it is precisely in solitude that God teaches you patience. He does not promise that everything will come immediately, but He assures you that each day you will step closer to the goal He has set. Patience is not waiting without purpose, but trusting in God's timing, knowing that everything will happen at the right moment when you are ready. In times of loneliness, when there is no one else by your side, God becomes the only companion you have. This is not an easy time, but it is a period when you are invited to draw closer to God, to explore a profound relationship that you might have overlooked in your daily life. When everything seems to disappear, when all that is left around you is silence, it is then that you can truly feel the clear and peaceful presence of God. Imagine in the most difficult moments of loneliness, you begin to realize that there is a quiet strength, a comfort always ready to be by your side. That is God. He never leaves you even when you feel you are walking through the darkest path. God does not leave you alone without reason. He is inviting you to build your trust in Him, so you can feel comforted and protected under His loving wings. In loneliness, God is the one who listens to every silent prayer, who understands every tear that no one else knows about. He is present in every moment of suffering, so you realize that no pain is in vain when you have Him by your side. During this time, God shows you that no one understands you better than Him. No one can come to you in weakness and fragility like He did. He is guiding you step by step, even when you feel you can't go on. Trust in God is not built through mere words, but through genuine experiences, through moments when you realize that God is the only one who is always there. It is precisely in solitude that He helps you understand tranquility, a sense of peace that does not come from humans, but can only come from Him. When you feel that love and presence, your trust in God will become stronger, deeper, and more everlasting. When the world around you is silent, that is when you can hear God's voice the clearest. Sometimes God doesn't speak, doesn't answer in the way we want, and that can make you feel anxious, even confused. But it is precisely in that silence that God is at work. You don't need words to express your love and presence, because sometimes silence is the most powerful message. That's when you can listen to the voice of your inner self, recognize the thoughts and true desires within you, the things you might have overlooked in the noise of life. God's silence is not abandonment. On the contrary, it is an invitation for you to place your complete trust in Him, to understand that His presence does not depend on what He says, but on the fact that He is always there, quietly guiding you step by step. Maybe God wants you to realize that sometimes not everything needs to be explained or clarified immediately. Your silence is a way for you to gain a clearer understanding of yourself, to rediscover the values you have missed or forgotten. When you understand that God is still working in silence, you will feel more at ease, and you will realize that we don't always need immediate answers. Trust that He knows what is best for you, and when the right time is for you to realize it. God may not answer immediately, but He always listens, always knows, and always works to bring you to a better life. Losing external support, you are forced to rely on your own faith. When there is no longer the presence of relatives, friends, or familiar faces, you will feel a great emptiness. But realize that the void is not for you to feel lost, but for you to learn how to trust in God. When there is no one left to rely on, you will realize that faith in God is a source of strength that never fades, a support that is unique and eternally steadfast. Trust in God is not built through easy things, but through challenges. When everything becomes difficult, when there is no one you can turn to, you will have to learn to rely on faith, on the deep faith within your heart. Your faith will be forged through every difficult step, every challenge, and every moment when you feel you can no longer continue. But it is precisely in those moments when you lean on God, when you decide not to give up, that your faith will grow, become stronger, and more enduring. Sometimes God puts us in a state of loneliness so we can clearly see our weaknesses, to realize that we cannot overcome everything on our own. We need you, and we need faith to hold on to hope. When you have faith, you will not feel alone, even if there's no one else around. You will know that God is there, that He will never leave you alone on your journey. He is encouraging you every day, every hour, even when you cannot see Him clearly. Loneliness is not just a stage of weakness, but also a place where you find true strength in your relationship with God. Loneliness is a gift from God so that you can understand your own worth, to realize that you don't need anyone to affirm your value because God has created you with an immeasurable worth. We often tend to seek recognition from others, from relationships, from praise, or even from external judgmental gazes. But when all those things disappear, when there is no one beside you to affirm or oppose, you will begin to realize that your value does not depend on anything external. In moments of solitude, when there are no others to affirm your worth, you will begin to look within yourself and realize that your existence is already a testament to God's love and intention. He created you uniquely, perfectly, and He loves you not because you are accepted or praised by others, but because you are you. Each characteristic, each personality trait, each ability of yours was created by Him for a special reason. You are a part of His grand plan, and that is something no one can change. Loneliness allows you to stop, so you no longer have to chase any standards other than God's. You will realize that your worth does not come from what you do, what you own, or what others think of you, but from the truth that you are a beloved child of His. That is an eternal value, not fading over time and cannot be taken away by anyone. When there are no more voices of others, you begin to hear your inner voice clearly. We often pay too much attention to what others think, to societal judgments, to the point of forgetting ourselves. Voices from the outside can be a motivation, but they can also be a burden, pulling us away from our true selves. When you are in solitude, those voices begin to fade, giving way to the voice of God, to what you truly desire and believe in. Loneliness is an opportunity for you to find the voice of your heart, to realize that you don't need to live to please anyone or to gain acceptance from the outside. You are called to live a worthy life, a life true to yourself, a life in which you know you are fulfilling God's will. No longer having to seek the praise or judgment of anyone, you can walk more freely, more fully, and with the belief that God has accepted you completely. When you are no longer dependent on the judgments of others, you will find yourself feeling lighter, and life will also become clearer. Loneliness helps you find a solid foundation from within, a faith in God and in the path He has laid out for you. That's when you realize that no one else but Him needs to confirm whether the path you are on is right or wrong. As long as you have faith, as long as you have love and understanding from God, that is the most important thing. God uses solitude to give you time to recover, to reflect, and to heal. Life is not always smooth sailing, and there are times when you feel hurt and lost. But sometimes because you are too busy, because you focus too much on external things, you don't have time to stop and truly look at your wounds. Loneliness is God's way of bringing you back to what truly matters, so you can pause and face yourself honestly. Only in silence, when no one is by your side, can you clearly see the hidden wounds in your heart. The wounds you have tried to hide, the pain you have avoided will all become apparent in solitude. But don't be afraid, because that is the first step in the healing process. God does not want you to carry unnecessary burdens. He does not want you to be weighed down by the past. He wants you to be healed, to be free, so you can live a full and powerful life. In solitude, you will discover your strength. You will understand that you have the ability to face every challenge, overcome every pain, because God is always by your side and He will never let you bear it alone. He uses solitude as a means for you to stand firm on your own, to see that you don't need to depend on anyone to feel complete or strong. You are the one who can face your own pain, and with God's help, you will overcome it and grow stronger. The healing process is not easy, but it is a necessary step for you to become the best version of yourself. When you dare to face yourself, when you accept and heal your wounds, you will discover a strength you have never realized before. You will see that you have been created with extraordinary inner strength, with a power not only to overcome, but also to conquer every challenge. God is helping you see your true self, a strong person, full of determination, and ready to embrace everything that comes from Him. Consider loneliness not as a punishment, but as a precious time for you to explore and develop yourself. Let solitude be the place where you find peace, where you recognize your worth, and where you are ready to face life's challenges with the faith and strength that God has bestowed upon you. God wants you to know that you are worthy of love, deserving of respect, and should take care of yourself. Often in life, we can easily get caught up in relationships, work, and other responsibilities, forgetting about ourselves. When you are in a state of loneliness, it is a time that God has set aside for you to stop, focus on understanding, and taking care of yourself. This is the time for you to learn how to love and protect yourself instead of waiting for love from the outside. Loneliness is a precious time for you to ask yourself what you truly want and need. It's a moment for you to explore the things that make you happy, bring you peace, and even the things that make you feel uncomfortable. God wants you to know that the love you need doesn't always come from others. Sometimes true love comes from within, from the way you take the time to listen, care for, and attend to your own needs. Think about taking this time to care for your soul, as if you were your own dearest loved one. Instead of seeking satisfaction externally, find contentment in respecting and loving yourself. When you take care of yourself, you are telling God that you understand the value He has placed in you. You are a meaningful being, a person worthy of respect and love, and this begins with how you treat yourself. Take care of yourself with respect, love, and understanding, because that is what God desires for you. Self-love is a reflection of God's love for you. God created each person with infinite love, and accepting and loving yourself is how you embrace His love. Many people often think that loving oneself is selfish, is self-satisfied. But the self-love that God wants for you is not arrogance, but the realization that you are valuable. You are worthy of love by the one who created you. When you love yourself, you are demonstrating that you understand the unconditional love that God has bestowed upon you. He did not create you for you to blame yourself, to feel inadequate, or to seek acceptance from the world. He created you with love and a desire for you to appreciate yourself. By loving yourself, you accept that God created you with meaning, with purpose, and that you are the only one who can truly understand yourself. Loving yourself is also a way to embrace the gifts that God has placed in your heart, the talents, the virtues, and even the experiences that have shaped you. When you take the time to explore yourself and accept every aspect, whether it is a strength or a weakness, you are loving yourself in the way that God desires. That is self-love in humility, in gratitude, and in respect. Give yourself time to practice this love so you can grow and mature under the light of God's love. Loneliness is the time you learn to set healthy boundaries, so you know that not everything from the outside is beneficial for your growth. While connecting with others is important, it is equally essential to know how to protect your own time and space. Setting boundaries is an act of love and self-respect. It's how you show that you understand your own worth and won't let anything undermine it. When you set boundaries, you are doing what God desires, protecting yourself from negative influences, avoiding unhealthy relationships, and dedicating time to what truly brings meaning. This may not be easy, as we often worry that rejecting others will make them unhappy. But remember that you are learning to love yourself, and that means setting necessary boundaries to protect your heart and spirit. Boundaries are essential for you to maintain peace and focus on the things that God has placed in your heart. You don't have to accept every invitation. You don't have to explain all your choices. Believe that protecting yourself is a good thing. It helps you grow and develop sustainably. God wants you to learn how to take care of yourself by setting clear boundaries. This is not to isolate you, but to teach you how to protect the values and goals entrusted to you by God. In a state of loneliness, you can easily feel lost. But this is also a wonderful time for you to understand that you are important. And self-care is not only necessary, but also a sacred responsibility. When you practice self-love and protect healthy boundaries, you are preparing to live a full, confident life without being dependent on anything external. In silence, God reveals the true purpose of your life. Lonely moments are when you are not distracted by external noise, when no one else influences your decisions. That's when you stand in the midst of silence. And it is in that silence that you will feel the call of God more clearly than ever. These solitary phases help you illuminate things that you may have overlooked before, allowing you to listen to God's voice regarding the purpose He has set for your life. Think about the times in life when you have the opportunity to listen to yourself without being disturbed. Perhaps it's when you are in the midst of nature, alone on a deserted road, or sitting quietly in a room. Those moments are not just times of rest, but rather opportunities for you to deeply connect with your inner calling. You begin to realize that the small, simple things also carry great significance. And in each of those details, God is guiding you to the purpose of your life. Loneliness is not just a state, but a reminder, a call from God for you to focus on your life's goals. God is reminding you that your goal is not something vague or unrealistic. He has engraved that mission in your heart, and He wants you to take the time to listen more clearly to it. In the silence, you can feel the importance of each day in life, of every action, every word you dedicate to others. God wants you to be fully aware that you are living to serve, to spread His love and light in everything you do. Let each day be an opportunity to serve and live according to the purpose that God has set for you. When you have clearly understood the goal that God has placed in your heart, turn that awareness into action. Every day is an opportunity for you to express the love, care, and empathy that God has bestowed upon you. Every small action, every kind gesture you perform is a way you express your gratitude for His love and guidance. Life is not just about awareness, it is also a journey of practical actions. God does not want you to merely recognize your mission without making an effort to fulfill it. He wants you to start with specific actions such as helping those in need, encouraging those who are facing challenges, or even spreading God's faith and hope through the way you live. You don't need to do anything grand right away. Start with the smallest yet most sincere tasks, so that each day you take another step closer to your goal. Every day when you wake up, ask yourself, what can I do today to live according to the purpose that God has placed in my heart? Don't wait for a special occasion or a big opportunity to take action. Let this understanding spread through every daily action. God has equipped you with all the abilities to fulfill your mission. What you need to do is to keep striving, keep committing, and let each of your actions reflect love and trust in God. When you understand why God wants you to be alone, you will see true strength. Loneliness is not just a challenge, but also a source of energy that God has bestowed upon you so that you can dedicate yourself to your mission with absolute focus and determination. When you feel strong enough to stand on your own, to confidently move forward without needing the recognition of others, that is when you can fulfill God's plans most completely. God wants you to see solitude as a solid foundation, a support you can always return to when facing difficulties and challenges. When you emerge from solitude with a clear understanding of your mission and purpose, you will not be easily swayed by external factors. You will have enough steadfastness to persist in pursuing what God has placed in your heart, no matter how difficult or lonely the path may be. Look at those who have experienced loneliness throughout history, those who have turned silence into strength, turning solitude into a source of inspiration to carry out the grand plans entrusted by God. Each challenge you encounter in solitude will become a valuable experience, helping you understand yourself and God better. When you have accepted and cherished solitude, you will find that you have enough strength to face anything on the journey of serving God and fulfilling His plan. Loneliness is a lesson for you to learn how to be more confident in yourself and in God. By turning loneliness into motivation, you will find an inexhaustible source of strength, a deep belief that God is always by your side and will guide you through every challenge. Know that God never lets you walk alone. He has given you the strength to carry out the mission on your own, to become the person He has shaped, and to spread His love to those around you. Stand up, commit with courage and patience, for for you are never alone on this journey. Every step you take is a testament to the love and strength that God has placed within you. Turn loneliness into a source of energy, a strength for you to move forward, to serve, and to live a fulfilling life according to God's will. Loneliness is a tool for God to prepare you. This is not the time for you to feel abandoned or unworthy. This is the time for you to be prepared to find strength, determination, and a deep relationship with God. Look at loneliness not as a temporary phase, but as an important process in your journey of growth. God does not use loneliness to punish or make you suffer. You are using it as a way for you to understand yourself better, so you can stand firm, be independent, and strong. It is during this period that you will find answers that you cannot discover amidst the noise and distractions of everyday life. Think of loneliness as a waiting room where God prepares you for greater things, a place where you are refined and shaped to be ready for all the great things God has in store for you. Only by accepting loneliness as a part of the journey can you truly recognize the meaning and value it brings. Embrace loneliness with gratitude, with the belief that you are being prepared to reach a higher level in life. Accept loneliness with the belief that it is God's work in your life. God has chosen you to go through this time, not to make you weak or lost, but so you can discover the wonderful things within yourself. When you face loneliness, realize that God is giving you a gift, the gift of peace, discovery, and preparation. You know that each of us needs time to mature, to reflect, and to build a solid foundation from within. Take moments alone to feel the presence of God, to talk to Him, and to understand that He is guiding you. When you feel the silence surrounding you, let it become peace, and let your heart be filled with gratitude for God trusting you on this journey. That's when you will start to clearly see the meaning of loneliness, to understand the purpose that He has laid out. Don't fear loneliness, be grateful because God is using it to make you a stronger person, full of faith and steadfastness. Step out of this season of loneliness with strength and the understanding that you are prepared for greater things. Don't let loneliness discourage you. Instead, let it become a motivation for you to move forward, to realize the potential that God has placed within you. Act with a deep understanding that you have been prepared to embrace greater missions, larger responsibilities, and greater joys that God has reserved for you. From this moment on, live with the belief that you are never alone. Every step you take, every decision you make, do it with the faith that God is guiding you. Remember that loneliness is not the end, but the beginning of a new journey, a new life full of vitality and meaning. God has taught you that you have the strength to face every challenge, that you do not need to rely on anyone but Him to find peace. Let each day be an opportunity for you to serve, to fulfill your mission with courage and gratitude. Don't forget that God has given you a special mission, and He is the source of strength for everything you do. Act with confidence, with gratitude, and with the belief that God is watching over you, guiding you every step of the way.